Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, hi, my name is Carrington. I'm so glad that you found me. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the books that I've read in August and what books are on my to be read list for September. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please make sure you guys have subscribed, click the little bell. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and let's dive on in. In July, I shocked myself at the amount of books that I had read, but alas, I am here for it. I think I had only selected like 5 books and was like, if I add more, then I add more, and I added more. I read 10 books. That is the most of all the months that I have read this month, but I have also found a way for me to really be able to focus and enjoy books, which before had not been as easy for me. I suffer with ADHD, and I have discovered a new way. I have posted a video about it, discovering the ways that I really like to read books. I have found a way that really helps me to retain the information, be able to have all of my senses met, as well as be able to read more books. So I will link that video, list or link, both. I will list the link to that video. There we go. Down below in the description box. So let's go over the books that I have read in July. So I went ahead, I had this on my to be read list for July. I didn't get around to it, so I did pick this up in the month of August. I keep wanting to say it's July, but it's not, it's August. It's literally almost the end of August. It is the end of August. And I'm still stuck on July. I don't know what's happening. But I thought I was going to read this in July. I just didn't get around to it. And then I picked it back up. And so I was able to finally read that, take that off my TBR list. Next up is going to be Erin Beauregard's Playground. Again, this book is not for everyone. I did do a TikTok on this video. I may post my thoughts on this video without giving too much away as a video as well. But this book, I enjoy. Okay, it's not for everyone, but I absolutely did enjoy it. The next book is going to be The Hospital. This is a nonfiction book about Barbara O'Hare, who is this girl right here who had experiments done at Aston Hall, and like her journey through her life. This book was so sad from start to finish, but it was just so good, and it shows just how much like history can be changed, or not necessarily changed, but how it's documented can be changed as well. So this was a really, really good book. The next book that I read was also on my July to be read, and I did not read it, but I did read it this month, and that's Jodi Picoult's Wish You Were Here. I love Jodi Picoult. I love her so much. I think I have 1 or 2 other of her books that I have, but I haven't read yet. So those will be coming in like future to be read lists. I'm not sure if she's come out with a new book recently. If she has, I'll definitely be picking that up. We already know. The next book that I read is going to be Keep It in the Family by John Mars. This is my second book I've read from him. The first one was The Good Samaritan. I did enjoy this book just as much as The Good Samaritan. Whenever I go to rank these books, so I will rank these books in another video. I just want to kind of talk about what I've read and what I'm going to be reading. But in this book, compared to The Good Samaritan, I think they were both about the same. They both talked about different topics. His writing style is just really well. The thought that he puts into it is really well. But sometimes I kind of find it to be a little bit predictable or a little bit too outlandish, whatever the case may be. But it was still a really good book. The next one, and I was shocked at how much I loved this, but I kind of knew I was going to love it, is going to be Hooked by Emily McIntyre. This book is so good. This is like an adult, smutty twist on the Peter Pan tale. And she has many more books, and I'm so excited for those books. I have all of them. I need to read them. But I was just so floored by this. I read this in a day. I read this in less than 24 hours. I repeat, I read this in less than 24 hours. Like, who am I? Who am I? But it was so good. Worth the read, especially if you like adult spiciness, but you also like little tributes to Disney, whatever the case may be. The next book is one that was so highly recommended on TikTok. I picked it up. This is Bunny by Mona Awad. This is a very interesting but yet outlandish book all at the same time. This book it's very cult driven, and I'm somebody who really likes cults. Let me just say that. I'm somebody who really likes cults, but this was like Mean Girls meets Cruel Intentions meets Twilight. Yes, yeah, no, that's honestly, that's like the best description to go with here. That's what this is like. Mean Girls, it meets Twilight, meets Cruel Intentions. It's a lot different than I thought. Oh, here, my bookmark. I was wondering where my bookmark went, and it was still stuffed in my book. Of course. The next book is going to be Flicker in the Dark. I wanted to say bark, but it's dark. But there are trees that have bark on it, so, you know. By Stacey Willingham. I read this for my book club that I started at work. This was our book, and we all read it, and we all really enjoyed it. There were some parts in it that we were just kind of like, what? And the ending, we were also kind of like, what? But it was overall, it was really good. My best friend is in the book club, and let me tell you, she hates to read. She just does not like it, and that's perfectly fine. Not everybody likes to read. But she even was like, I can't stop reading this. I keep having to like turn the page because I need to know what happens. And it's just amazing how all like the minute, intricate details, everything comes together at the end. That was a really good book. The next one is going to be Just Like Mother. Again, this is a little bit more cult-based. She leaves a cult with her mom, and then she goes and finds herself another cult without meaning to. But alas, that's kind of how cults work. Sometimes you just get strung in, you get sucked in without ever realizing it, and hopefully you find your way. I don't know. The last book is another book that has just been ranted and raved about, and this wasn't in my to be read, but then I added this to my to be read, and I'm so glad I did. That was Hidden Pictures by Jason Rokulak. I'm so sorry. So sorry if I butchered the name. The authors will probably never watch my videos, but in the event that they do, I'm so sorry. So sorry. This was really, really good. What I will say about this book, if you plan on picking this up, is the Audible or audio version of this just doesn't really do this book as much justice. And I say that because this book has pictures in it scattered throughout the whole book. And while Audible may be able to describe it to you, it's not going to be as good as actually seeing the picture and itself. Okay? Like, does that make sense? And then they put everything in a sequence, and it just makes even more sense. So I would say this is probably not an Audible read, but this was a very good read nonetheless. For the month of September, I have chosen 7 books. I have noticed that the past 4-ish months I have been able to read 7 books or more, so I definitely wanted to keep 7 books. Some of them are on the shorter side, so I may be able to sneak in like another one or something like that. But let's go ahead and let's dive on in. So the first one is going to be A Long Walk to Water by Linda Sue Park. This is going to tell about the story of 2 boys from Sudan who are refugees, and each of them are at a different timeline. One was like 1985, one is like 2001, something like that. I'm sure it says on here 2008 and 1985. But basically they are just trying to fight for their survival, and it kind of just goes to the story of them, but again, it's very, very short. The next one is also going to be a short book. That's going to be Sour Candy by Keelan Patrick Burke. So this is about a man who just got out of prison. When people see him out in the community, they see him with his son, and he seems to be this great father. They're at the grocery store, they're at the park, they're doing all of these fun things. However, they recently just met. They've never met before a day in their life. He just randomly picked him up from a grocery store one day and talked the kid into coming with him. I know, I'm shook as well. The next one is going to be As Old as Time. Okay, this is another Disney twisted tale. It's not like Hooked, where it's like a little bit more smutty. At least I don't think so. This is kind of like where it's like the retelling of the story, but in a twisted way. And this is talking about how Belle and her father are like under this curse, but instead of it being the fairy, although it is the fairy, it was actually Belle's mom who has set the curse. And now Belle and the Beast need to go about breaking this curse, but she's also finding a lot out about her past and her mother and things like that along the way as well. So I'm excited about this. The next book is one that I have read before, but honestly, it's starting to really pick up some hype again. that I just wanted to read it again. Okay, I just wanted to read it again. That is going to be 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult. I love Jodi Picoult. I love her writing. I love her style. But basically, this is about a case where there was a school shooting, and the judge's daughter should have been a really good star witness to the case, but she just cannot remember anything about that really, really traumatic day. And so the trial is progressing. Oh, wow. And due to this trial, it is really starting to tear apart friends, families, communities. They're trying to place faults. Was it the team that had went out and shot everyone? Was there adults that should be blamed? But it just kind of asks those like crippling questions, like what does it mean to be different in our society? Who are we to judge other people? And is anybody ever really how they seem to be, whether that be the shooter, the bullies, the parents, the whatever the case may be? Maybe not everyone is how they appear. And so this book I read before, again, it's so good. Jodi Picoult is such a good author. Just give her one chance. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Just give her one chance. The next book is going to be Gone to See the Riverman by Christopher Triana. So this is about a lady who falls in love with a serial killer, right? Because I'm sure, as we all know, right, these serial killers go to prison for like atrocities, or Charles Manson, for instance, and suddenly women are all engrossed with them and be like, I want to marry you. I'm going to help you get you out of prison. Like, I don't know what is going on, but okay, whatever. Anyways, so this lady falls in love with a serial killer who has been convicted of butchering 20 women. She says she's willing to do anything for him, so she sets her up on this quest to go find the key, which is the Riverman. She brings her sister, and now she is in for a wild, wild ride for her life, and she realizes that the Riverman may not actually be real. I'm really excited to read this. I'm really excited. This, again, has gotten a lot of hype on TikTok and other platforms, and I own it. I just haven't read it yet. Okay, I literally have like 400 books to be read. Okay, we're not going to judge. I like to spend money, and I like to spend it on makeup and books. Okay, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Next book is going to be my first ever by this author, and I'm really, really excited. I see her pop up on my TikToks here and there to kind of like talk about her books. That's going to be Lucinda Berry. This is going to be The Perfect Child. So this is about a husband and a wife. One's a surgeon, one's a nurse, and they desperately would like a child. Obviously, they're having some issues in their own personal lives as to why they can't have a child. I don't know what the exact is. I'm going to expect infertility. As for who's infertile, what's going on, I'll have to read the book and find out. I'll let you know. But when they are at work, a child is brought in who was lost at a store, and they can't find the parents. They think something tragic may have happened to the parents, so they think, well, this is the perfect opportune time for us to take on a child. So they bring this child home. The name is Janie, and Janie is like really, butting up really good with Christopher, the dad. But Hannah, she is like acting outrageous with, but whenever Christopher's around, she doesn't act that way. And Hannah is trying to get Christopher to see this, but he just like doesn't believe her. And then as they're starting to be torn apart by this child, a lot of secrets from Janie's past come up that they have to unravel and unwind as well. The next is going to be Happiness Falls by Angie Kim. So this is about a Korean American family who seem to be having like a pretty good life. And the dad, this girl's dad and brother go out for a run, but it's been hours since anybody's heard from them, but they're just like, oh, maybe they forgot their phones, maybe they went to go get something to eat, just trying to make up tons of excuses. But when the brother comes back and is covered in blood, and the dad is nowhere to be found, now panic sets in, and they're trying to piece together what happens. But the issue with piecing together what is going to happen is that the brother, the only witness to anything that has happened, to any of the clues, because it seems like the dad just vanished, there's no clues around, is he cannot talk. He has a disability, and it is not autism. It is, I will tell you, because it says on here what it is. A rare genetic condition called Engelmann syndrome. I've never heard of this. So he cannot speak. He cannot give any details. And so they have to try to unravel the details themselves, while also uncovering a ton of family secrets at the same time. I'm here for a good family drama. I'm here for a good mystery. I'm here for a good thriller, whatever the case may be. So I'm very excited for this. The next book and the last book is going to be What Lies in the Woods. This has been selected as Book of the Month for the September book club. And this is going to be about 3 friends who used to play a lot in the woods together. And one day one of their friends is attacked. She does survive the 17 stab wounds. And then she was able to identify this man and put him in prison. And he was wanted on murders for like 6 other women. They said he was a serial killer. Now they're adults, and Naomi and what is her name? Naomi and Olivia are now wanting to come forward with the truth, because apparently all 3 of them lied at the time. What they lied about, I don't know, but they lied at the time as to what really happened. Both the girls would like to go forward with the story. Olivia then goes missing, so now it's up to Naomi to try to piece together exactly what happened and what has happened to Olivia and her friend before time runs out for her. So that is it for today's video, talking about the books that I had read in the month of August and what I would like to read in the month of September. Of course, I will always come back and update you guys in a month, see what I have read, if I've added extra, didn't read something, whatever the case may be. And then following that, of course, will always be a ranking of the books that I read, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoy this makeup look, I've either posted this video look or I will, and if I have, then I will link it down below. If I have not, make sure you guys have subscribed so you guys can figure out how to get this look as well. If you enjoyed, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below what's on your to be read. What did you read in the month of August? Let me know all of that down below, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.